I'm Tyler Suiters, and you're watching Clean Skies News. David Crane is president and CEO of NRG Energy and a frequent guest here on the network. David, good to have you back with us.
Tyler, it's good to see you again.
Let's jump right back in, because since the last time you and I talked, NRG received a major grant, $150 million plus, from the DOE for carbon capture projects.
That's right. I think it was $135 million, but if they want to make it $150 million, even better.
I'm inflating it, sorry.
Yes, it's a post-combustion carbon capture project that we would attach to our parish plant down outside Houston, and we're very excited about it because carbon capture and sequestration, as I used to say, you can't solve global warming just by making coal clean, but it's hard to make the math work without making coal clean. So it's an important step.
Well, to some degree, this is a nationwide effort in terms of mastering CCS technology. I think first and foremost of the Mountaineer plant, about 1,300 megawatts in West Virginia, which has a significant jump start on what you're planning. However, it seems that there's more of an effort to find synergy on this technology rather than one company capturing this and holding on to the technology.
Well, I think it's actually a combination of two things, Tyler. One is, the government always says that they're not trying to pick winners in the technology race, and I think the way they've distributed money in the clean coal area that demonstrates that. And the good news is that I think people are looking at a lot of different solutions to how to make coal clean, and there are definitely synergies involved with that, because just the more people you have thinking about these solutions, the more chance you're going to have synergies and people are going to work together. But at the same time, we're still at the stage where there's so many different approaches being used in terms of the basic paradigm is how you capture carbon, that we're still at I think we're still at the demonstration stage. Hopefully what will happen when this wave of projects get done is people will compare notes, and then the government will sort of narrow the field as to which of these technologies is the most technologically promising and economically affordable.
There's a bit of a gap, David, it would seem, between getting carbon capture and storage technology into place and capping carbon, the legislation that is on the way from the Senate. What are you expecting from the coal titles within the Kerry-Graham-Lieberman bill to help companies like NRG make that transition?
Well, I certainly I'm hoping for a couple things. First of all, a little bit of acceleration of this demonstration of carbon capture, because while we're taking steps in the right direction, and certainly the pace is accelerated under the current administration from what was done before, where all the focus was on FutureGen, it's still not a national accelerated program with a deadline saying we really need to have this thing solved within the next 10 years or so, which means that the pace at which it will occur, I think, as you say, is slower than we will be getting carbon regulation. Mm-hmm. So hopefully one thing that will come out of Kerry-Graham-Lieberman is a portfolio of plans to sort of accelerate that pace. I think the second thing that Kerry-Graham-Lieberman will focus on what do we do with all these 50-year-old coal plants in the country, because companies like ours face a dilemma. These plants are at the end of their natural useful life. But right now, with the uncertainty over the climate regime, it's not clear whether we should continue to invest in the plants, and most of the investments in back-end controls, environmental remediation, which we all want. But we don't want to put in a lot of money into environmental remediation into a plant that should be closing next year. So hopefully they will have some provisions that give a little bit more guidance on what's the right economic decision to make with these very old coal plants.
So how is progress moving forward right now in talks with the administration on this so-called cash for clunkers program with these old coal plants? Do you foresee an end or a conclusion sometime soon?
I'm just not. I'm not a Washington insider, Tyler. I'm not as close to that as maybe I should be. I can't really provide any illumination to your viewers.
But you are preparing, bottom line, David, for a price on carbon. Does it matter to you? Does it matter to NRG whether it is through legislation or through regulation in terms of the way you're going to do business?
Well, I think at its basic, the basic premise, we would agree with almost everyone, almost the universal opinion that legislation is better than doing it through regulation. And for a lot of people, you would say that that's because it's such an important change in the American economy, actually in the American society, all of us moving to a sustainable, low-carbon future, that the people's representatives should legislate on the issue. Having said that, obviously there's a great deal of controversy and impasse on this topic, so so the EPA is in a position to regulate on it. Our major concern with the EPA is that whatever the EPA decides to do, it will be litigated. And so we who stand poised to invest billions of dollars in the American economy to create the next generation of power plants, we will spend another several years not knowing what we should build. And that's not good for the environment, it's not good for the economy, it's not good for you and me. So we would prefer legislation to regulation.
David Crane is President and CEO of NRG Energy, and to your credit, David, not a Washington insider. Thank you. Thanks for joining us once again.
Tyler, it's great to see you as always.
Thank you, and thank you as well for being with us. I'm Tyler Suiters. You're watching Clean Skies News.